channel. My name's Tracy if you are new, and if you're an existing viewer, thank you for coming back and spending your time with me. I do appreciate it very much. I am doing a collaboration today with the lovely Penny. I'll put her name up on the screen. It's being Penny B. We've become friends. We both started our YouTube channel around the same time, and we kind of got chatting in the comments and things like that, and we've just become friends through that. And we've been talking a lot about the energy crisis. We are that boring. We are those people just saying how scary it is and how much our direct debits are, and you know how, because we both thought that the price cap, the £2,500, I thought that meant that you don't pay over that, but that was wrong. So that was a bit of a fright. So we just started talking about energy saving and kind of money saving ideas around the home, and that's where this video has come from. So Penny's doing 5 of hers, and then I'm gonna do 5 of mine. I might go a little bit over, or I might just incorporate and ramble. I am a bit of a rambler. If you're new to my channel and you've come over from Penny's, stick around, hit subscribe, thanking you. Right, so my first tip is to put tinfoil behind your radiators. You can put it on blue tack. Blue tack's a wonderful DIY tool. I'm not kidding you. I have my doorbell blue tacked on for over 7 years. So it does work. I would go, you know, there's different kind of grades of tinfoil. There's some that's kind of, you can tear it, and some are thicker. I would use the thicker one, or I have used the thicker one. And I just blue tacked it behind my radiators because it reflects the heat back into the room, and it's also extra good if your radiator is on an outside wall rather than an internal one. So that's a little tip. I think I read that if you do that, you can save £28 a year by your home being warmer. I don't know if that's true, but I like to believe it. I'm looking down here because I've got some notes. The next thing I've got is air fryer and slow cooker. There is a thing, I've put it on the screen, and it tells you how many, for an hour, how many watts of electricity something uses and how much you pay. So like, I think an electric shower off the top of my head is like £1.22 an hour or something, and a kettle I think is 43p. Not that you boil a kettle for an hour, but still. But on there, air fryers come in low. They're a lot lower than your I don't know about a gas oven. I've only got an electric oven, so it comes in a lot lower than your fan electric oven. And also slow cookers are about, I want to say 4p an hour. I don't know if that's an exaggeration, but using your air fryer and your slow cooker, your air fryer, if you put a chicken breast in the oven, and in my oven, and it's not that old an oven, it takes about 40 minutes if you get a nice big fat plump one. It takes a lot less than that in the air fryer. So you're using electricity, you're using an electrical item that doesn't use as much as a big oven, and you're also using it for a less amount of time. I do a lot of slow cooker meals just out of laziness and ease. You just chuck it all in and leave it for hours and hours. So I just do it for the ease of it. But also I was really pleased when I did see that the slow cooker usage is quite low. Another thing kind of going along the same kind of theme is meal plan. That way you're not overbuying, because we all know that everything's just, you know, they're chucking like 20p on things that were 50p, they're now 70. I know it doesn't sound a great deal when I say it like that, but if you get 60 items in your shopping, it really adds up. So meal planning is quite useful. And another thing I've got written down here is soup. I've got a soup maker. I've actually got a review. I'll leave it below if anyone's interested. It's a Morphy Richards one. But when your veggies have maybe gone, you know, when your carrots are a bit bendy rather than crisp, you can still make soup, and then you can freeze your soup. So that's a really good way of using things. I'm just thinking in my head, I wonder how much electricity my soup maker is, but I mean, mine only goes on the cycle of it is only like 23 minutes or something, so it's not on for long, and you can get a good few portions out. So that's really, you know, use your stuff up rather than throwing away stuff that you paid for with your hard-earned money. Modern washing machines, they go on for ages, don't they? Some of the kind of eco things go on for about 3 hours, and I always think, oh no, that's too long. And I must admit, I do use the 40-minute cycle, but just because I haven't got time, you know, working and everything. However, what I do after I've used my 40-minute cycle is I give it an extra spin. That gets a lot of the water out of the clothes, especially to help them drying if you're using airers. I've got about 5 airers that I put around, and I try and get everything I can out on the line still. I mean, it's 24th of October, and I got some throws and other stuff dry yesterday, not during the, did you have that big weather yesterday on the Sunday? It was like I'm in Berkshire, and it was like a hurricane. I'm not joking. Steve went out to get a Chinese. He came back and he literally looked like he'd had a bucket of water chucked over him. And while I was waiting for him, I was feeding the dogs in the kitchen, and the trees, I've got some really tall conifers, were just, I was really frightened by them. And then it passed, and then the sun came out. I forgot where I was going with this. Double spinning your clothes before the hurricane / tornado / it was windy, trust me, it was really windy. I got 3 lots of washing dried on the line, so get your washing out. And I did hear, because I always think, is it going to be, especially as I go off to work, I like to put it out early, and I did wonder if, you know, maybe it's going to rain or something, but somebody told me that if the ground is dry, if the ground will dry, then your washing will dry. So I don't know if that's true or not, but I have been taking a risk and putting more stuff out to dry rather than using my tumble dryer. I could talk about my tumble dryer, actually. I've got another link if you like. I've got a heat pump tumble dryer, which is supposed to be more cost effective than a regular tumble dryer, because I think it takes the water out of the clothes and then it heats it and pushes it all through the machine to dry, so you're drying with your own water. They are more expensive to buy than regular tumble dryers, but I just happened last year to be in the market for a tumble dryer, so I decided to get one of those. I am trying not to use it, but sometimes I have to dry my son's work uniform if that doesn't dry, and what can you do? You have to use it. Another tip for saving money, as well as spinning your washing cycle, is to drop down the temperature of your wash. I tend to wash most things at 40 degrees, or I used to. I now wash everything at 30 degrees, and I have read about some people just washing with no heat at all. Apparently some detergents actually can stand that and still get the clothes clean. I've not tried it. My son's a fencer, so his kind of work uniform gets quite grubby, but always for my dresses and things, I've always washed them at 30 degrees anyway, so I might even try and drop them down another one and see how that goes. Because it costs a lot to heat my house, I've got my house is built in a chalet style, so all the rooms are quite large and they're open, and I've got an open, from my front door goes straight up to the ceiling of the second floor, so it's a nightmare to heat. And I joined some energy kind of saving groups on Facebook, and the main thing that a lot of them are saying is heat the person, not the room. For those of you who are new or have come over from Penny's channel, I've got my 95-year-old dad here, and he goes out in an overcoat when it's like 32 degrees, and he's like, oh, isn't it cold? And I'm like, no, because I'm of the menopausal sweaty age. I'm absolutely boiling now. I've got this jumper on and I'm roasting. So I'm not a cold person, but I have bought my dad a heated throw, and it beat him. It really did, because he's always cold. And I went in and I said, why haven't you got your throw on? And he was like, oh, it was too hot. So if it can make him hot, it can do the rest of us. So because of that, I then I got my dad's from Amazon. I went back onto Amazon and I got one for myself and for my son. I've got it on my lap here, which is probably, you know, not helping my being hot. So this is what it looks like. And in these, there, can you see? That's the heated wire. It's just the same on both sides. It's lovely and soft. Oh, and I've plugged it in for you. So this is what you get. A little timer, and then you just, for my one, you turn it on at the side, and then you can change temperature. So that's high, 9, or I can take it down, whatever you want. I've had it on once, not because I'm going to turn that off because I'm roasting. I had it on once just to try it out because I didn't want to order it and it not work. And so we both tried it out and they do work. They're lovely and toasty, like they make you really cozy, but I'm just a boiling person. I literally, this year, I've been under my duvet at night time once. I have got a duvet on my bed, but I just lie on top of it because I just get so hot. And my boyfriend Steve's all like cocooned up like a little hibernating hedgehog, and I'm just like, oh, it's hot in here. So but I did think when you're sitting down, if you're watching TV or something, and I haven't put the heating on yet this year, so I mean it has been quite mild, I must admit. The sun's beaming. I had to shut the blinds because the sun's beaming through. But when you're sitting still for a while, my son likes to play I'm doing PlayStation, Xbox and things like that. So he's sitting in one place. So I didn't want him getting cold. So I bought him one and me one. Off the top of my head, I think they were about £53 each. But they're from Amazon. I'll link it below if you want it. It's not, you know, an affiliate link or anything like that. What else is on my little list? So we've done the tin foil, we've done the meal planning and using up the leftovers. Can't read my own writing. Oh, yes. Now, that's what I meant to do. I have left this video to a little bit last minute. I did want to research this, but I read and can't remember the answer. But I did read that you put your radiators on number 3. Now, I've got, you know, the ones that you twist and they've got the numbers 0. They've got like a frosty sign and then 0 round to 6. And I had all of my radiators cranked up to 6. But apparently that's not good because it makes the temperature of the boiler or something like that keep trying to reach it, and then it will go down. When you get it on 3, it keeps an ambient temperature in the room, and if it drops below the 3, the radiator then tells itself that it needs to heat up the room a bit more. I was going to Google it and read the actual reason so I sounded scientific and clever, but that's the principle of it. Just Google it yourself. Why should your radiators be set at number 3 if you've got the ones with the thermostat on? So that's that covered. I've done the double spinning. I mean, I know it's going to sound like a really, really stupid thing to say, but turn your lights off. I used to have every light in the house on, just literally lit up like a Christmas tree. I used to get told off at work for not turning the light off in the loo, and I was like, I'm going back in there, you know, at some point. And they're like, do you turn your lights off at home? And everyone else was like, yeah. I was like, oh, I don't. But now I do. I've got a light on in the room I'm in, and then I go to the loo and I turn the light on and I turn it off again afterwards. So, is it just me that doesn't turn lights off? Right, so turning lights off. I think I've covered everything that I wanted to talk about. I've lost track of how many that was. Another thing that I was just going to mention, it's not written on my list, but watch out for drafts. You can buy, I'm the queen of Amazon, but I'm sure in Homebase you can buy like a spongy tape and you can insulate around your doors and things, because drafts really, really do drop the temperature of a room. It reminds me of my nan. She used to have these, like, you know, sausage dogs are popular now. She used to have like a a brown knitted thing. It was really heavy. I don't know what it had in it. Maybe like beads or like beads, like, you know, those like kids' toys. And it was a sausage dog, and it had a little tail and a little face, but it was a draft excluder. And I mean, they're not fashionable anymore. I'm going back to the 1970s now, but those people knew how to save money and keep themselves warm, I think, a lot better than my generation does. It always reminds me, it always used to drive me crazy, my dad, when I've got like a radiator above a window and then a curtain, my dad would always fold all my curtains so they pretty much sit on the sill, so that the air from, so instead of going over the radiator, the air from the radiator would then go up towards the window and, you know, in theory, out of the house. And he used to fold them all up, and I used to just think, leave my curtains alone. But now, you know, that's why he used to do things like that. So that's another tip. Fold your curtains. Don't let your curtains flap over the top of your radiator, and not push the heat into the room, but push it out towards the outside. So, you know, watch out for drafts. You can put those sticky things on windows as well. And that's about everything that I can think of. Thank you ever so much for watching, and to Penny for collaborating with me. If you don't follow Penny's channel, go across, I'll link her down below, and go and say hi from me and watch her video and subscribe to her channel as well. Thanks ever so much for watching, lovelies, and I will see you in my next video, which is always Saturday, what I wore this week. Take care.